Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting Monday night coverage of the ISRC Larry Art Productions Truck Series. Tonight, the drivers get ready for race number 5. We've had 4 races, 4 different winners, 4 different pole sitters, and tonight at Dover, we could be seeing some more drama flare up as it's the Armadillas keep digging. 170 for this evening, as the drivers underway with qualifying to see who's going to take the pole award. Currently, it's Mark Whitley having the top awards currently at this time, but so many drivers looking at the numbers of who's going to qualify where. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining with us. Again, Monday night coverage on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me is Zach Hall. And Zach, tonight's race, an impactful one, race number 5 of the season, right before we go into one of the toughest sections of the regular season.
It does not get any easier here starting tonight, first off with Dover. So heading into that tough section to get a tough racetrack like the Monster Mile here for 1 mile of concrete high bank corners that really wear out the tires. And right now in this qualifying session, Sam, this is, in my opinion, the most critical time. Qualifying well here can really help out your causes. And I know from the trends, you want to go for that pole position, but I think you found out a few little things that maybe not wanting to be on that pole position heading into this race, even though that would be preferably the best position to start from.
Yeah, the trends have not been looking well for the driver that gets the pole award in every race. The past 3 races that are in here at Dover, you get the pole award, you have been wrecked out at some point during this race. So if you get the pole award, where Malik Kuntz is at right now, the 98 might be feeling confident on where he starts, but if you look at the trends, he's in a little bit of a scary spot. But if you look at other drivers deeper in the field, there's other trends that are in the positives. Driver that qualifies in 7th place has won every race here at Dover in the ISRC Truck Series. Those 2 stats, very different. But for some of these drivers, they got to be feeling confident as Nick Crawford takes that 7th place position and Malik Kuntz still has the pole.
Well, Sam, when you told me that stat, I did not expect 7th to be the position that won this race from all 3 previous times here at Dover at ISRC, and that's a wild stat to have and a trend that may look to continue. As Nick Crawford, I'm sure, is hoping that, as he's still holding on to that 7th position at the moment. But Malik Kuntz, though, what a lap from him, Sam. This would be huge. He needs to get something rolling here. He's a driver that's had a lot of speed, just hasn't had the finishes throughout his career here. Tonight could be a chance for possibly a victory with the speed he's showing right now.
Hoping for a victory as the 8 machine, and Noah Steele going to be popping up in 8th position for the 8. And Noah Steele back after a race suspension after intentionally wrecking into Malik Kuntz. So both these drivers going to be their first time on track since the suspension. Excited to see what we're going to see from the both of them, as it looks like qualifying is going to be done and dusted. No one else looking to be hitting the course. As we got a minute left, gives us time to give some shout outs to the amazing sponsors here at the ISRC Truck Series. First things first, I want to give a huge shout out to the title sponsor, Larry Art Productions. If you want to look at great variety YouTube videos, from that of comedy skits to reviews, go head over to Larry Art Productions today on YouTube and other social media sites. And as well, being the qualifying grid sponsor, that's Orchid Moon Tattoo Studios, being the qualifying grid sponsor for this year. Head over to Instagram and look up at Orchid Moon Tattoo Studios. They've got plenty of selections for you to find, from full colored custom tattoos, prints, paintings, stickers, and more. Again, go head over to Instagram and go check out what tattoo you may want today. And a final sponsor shout out, gonna go to Team Watson Racing Setups. Team Watson Racing Setups is the stage sponsor, and if you'd like to get yourself some setups or more, go to Team Watson Racing Setups. They've been the main sponsor for the stage break and as well helping out at road courses. Well, the field is set, ready to be placed. Qualifying, practice, both done. It's time for race time to begin here with 170 laps. The Armadillo keep digging 170, about to get underway. But before we hit the green, it's time to take a look at your Orchid Moon Tattoo Studios qualifying grid. Taking the pole award, maybe it's a good spot for now, but it may be later from the most dangerous position. Malik Kuntz in the 98 takes the pole. Ollie Fonseca, a former winner of this track, going to be in second position. Mark Whitley in third. Joshua Kanata fourth. Fifth goes to Blake Hoppy, going to be in the 31 machine. Logan Breakey going to be sixth. The winning number in these last 3 races, seventh for the 74. Nick Crawford, could he be going to victory lane here tonight? Noah Steele in eighth. Cody Reed ninth. And 10th goes to GT Irizarry.
In the 11th position is going to be the 46 truck, the Trick and Jump. Alongside him is going to be the driver that's finished in the top 3 all 4 races to start the season. And the points leader, Christopher Norris, in the 12th position. 13th is going to be the 15 truck of Matt Upbrook. 14th position going to be held by Cody Smith. 15th is going to be the 6 truck of Justin Smith. 16th is going to go to Ryan Bird. 17th, the 19 of Tyler Dingler. 18th is going to go to Moniz. 19th is Mason Cassidy. And rounding out the top 20, it's Kyle Rochelle in the 21 truck.
In 21st position, a driver that's gotten the pole back in season 3. It's Anthony Gaudio in the 3 machine. Mark Morales is going to be in 22nd position. Danny Cochran starting very deep in the field in 23rd. Ryan Ferraro, 24th. Austin Halsey in 25th. Tyler Horn back to race here tonight in the 26th machine in 26th position. Eric Stamp, 27th. 28th is going to be Tanner Johnson. And Joshua Freed being the one driver deciding not to put a time in here tonight. So we'll be starting in 29th position. 29 drivers expected to run here tonight. Zach for 170 laps, no fast repairs for just its tires in pit road. With our stage break being at lap 70, drivers are set and ready to go.
That they are set and ready to go, Sam, and this track is so tough. It's always talked about as being the monster mile, and that's for a reason. And I think the toughest thing here is to deal with the tire wear and the track position. This place is all about staying up front so you can get the clean air on the nose of that race car and have the best grip that you can possibly have for all of these laps. The more downforce you can have, the less tire wear you're going to be suffering from riding in that turbulent air behind one of these race trucks. So driver's going to look for early track position because I think passing is going to be at a premium. Once we get long into a run, you're going to have a tough time getting around somebody unless you are much, much quicker. So we'll see which drivers are aggressive early and which drivers are a little bit passive, maybe trying to save some of that Goodyear rubber.
I know also drivers very concerned on the exit of turn 2 here in the first 2 laps. What is the tire wear going to look like? And as well, tire spin. There's been a lot of restarts during the practice. Drivers were testing the restart zone on how much pace and how much throttle input you can put in. As hearing drivers say, hey, there's a lot of wheel spin, have to be careful. As the pace car pulls up, it's time for us to get to green flag racing. The Armadillas keep digging. 170 here at Dover, about to get underway. It's Malik Coots, Ollie Fonseca getting the green flag. Already some trouble. It's going to be on the inside lane. It's going to be the Malik Coots struggling, and we're 3 wide into turn number 1. Watch out. Here we go. Mark Whitley, Malik Coots, Joshua Kanata, 3 wide for second place.
Such a weird and awkward start there from our pole setter, Malik Coots. He's up into the wall almost down the back straightaways ahead to 3 and 4. Can only think Sam maybe was in the wrong gear and just could not get up to speed at the same pace that Ollie Fonseca could. But now he's loose off of 4. This is going to open up the door. Here comes Mark Whitley and Joshua Kanata.
Mark Whitley would have had the run, but had to rush onto the outside wall. Careful for the 77. Still trying to find the markers on the outside, though. Keeps the throttle in, put it into the wall in the 77. Major issues in front of the field as everyone's trying to slow down to get by Mark Whitley. And Mark Whitley struggling immediately for himself. Driver into pit road. Going to be seeing Ollie Fonseca, black flag for the 24, as he'll have to just sit and wait in pit road. Going to have to go 1 to 2 laps down as the 24 machine. But luckily, the rest of the field continues to stay green.
What a odd sequence of events here to start off this race. Mark Whitley's season continues to tumble here for him. In season number 5, it has not been a great start after missing last week, especially. Mark Whitley needs something to turn around for himself because it's just not been his season so far here at ISRC, but we know how good he is and how fast he is. I'm sure weeks to come he can get back into it, and if they can get that truck just a little bit fixed up with the damage, he should have a chance to get back into it. As we're checking out Dakota Moniz back here around the 13th position. It looks like a battle with Rochelle back there in the 21 truck.
Battling side by side, Tyler Daniel. Got Kyle Rochelle. This is for 16th position between the 21 and the 19 machine. And already seeing that outside lane, very terrifying. On the entry to center, you feel confident, but it's the exit, it really starts to squeeze on you as we look and see. That's going to be Mason Crosby in the 17. So pan over, right on board Tyler Dangler, just kind of being a sitting duck on the inside lane. That's kind of a shocker to see here, Zach. But passing, everyone seems to be thinking it's time to go now. We've seen a lot of movement in the drivers inside of our top 15.
talking to a few drivers, it was different opinions all around about how you wanted to attack this first stage. Due to the fact of it being at lap 70, it is right inside the window when it comes to fuel. I think the concern for the drivers is the tires getting all the way to that point, and you're going to see a little bit different strategy. If we stay green here for a long time, we may have others that elect to hit halfway through this early stage, get the green flag stop to utilize those fresh tires and try to come back around to win the stage. Looking back at last time we had a stage here at Dover, the new tires on a one-stop strategy inside that first stage almost came back around to win the stage. So I think a few drivers have looked at the history and are possibly thinking maybe that's going to be the way to go, or while others are going to look to stretch it out for the full 70 laps, they're just going to be struggling very much on that set of tires that's very old.
Yeah, and tires have always been a big question mark of how do you want to conserve them moving forward. As you see Ryan Berg getting aggressive for the 49 machine, and Dakota Moniz, Mason Cassidy right on top of one another, and Kyle Rochelle putting the pressure on the 17 to get moving forward. 5, Dakota Moniz qualified in 18th position. All drivers from 11th to 18th spot have moved forward. All those drivers behind them, though, have been finding some struggles as Dakota Moniz settles in and watches Kyle Rochelle, Rochelle and as well Cassidy looking like they are in the go mode. Both of them moved up 4 positions.
They really do seem to be looking to get aggressive here and make moves, and that was another thing that driver said to me is, what do the decisions of what you want to do early in this run here? Do you want to be very, very aggressive and try to gain spots when it's the easiest to pass and you're closest to your competition with those good, fresh Goodyear tires? Or do you want to wait, save a little bit, and then try to come back out around that end of the run? I know a lot of drivers talked about the farther we got in the run, the tougher it got to pass. So I think some of these drivers are electing to get a little aggressive here and gain the track position early while they still have some Goodyear, life in the tire.
And we talked about trends of every single race at Dover for the past 3 seasons. It's been the driver that starts in 7th place that goes to victory lane. Other trends, every race so far ran at Dover in the ISRC Truck Series. The first caution is at the stage break, either when the stage break officially is done or a wreck happens directly on the left that we should be seeing this stage yellow. So drivers are going to be on the back pedal of recognizing this could be a long green flag run, even though we've had plenty of scares just like this one, a stack 4 wide, but they continue to keep it straight. Those are moments that you hold your breath when you see drivers in 4 different entry points going into turn 3.
They were really getting aggressive there, and that was Mason Cassidy in the 17 who was, like you said, Sam, trying to make his way forward. He got to the back bumper of the 15, looked to the inside, the door got closed, luckily backed out of the situation. As we look back from our points leader's back bumper, he can see Cody Smith, and that's kind of where all this started to happen is Cassidy right behind this group. He's starting to try to threaten this group and try to move into position.
Riding on board the 38 of Christopher Norris, as he's going to be having Cody Smith directly behind, with drivers up 1 position each. Smith's actually up 2 spots, but Christopher Norris, the hottest driver so far to start the season off, and thinking passive approach here. He's got his teammate Nick Crawford ahead of him on how do you want to run this race. The heavy pressure on the back bumper of the 38 that has finished in the top 3 every race this season. Is a little bit of a shuffle from drivers deeper in the field. It's going to be Austin Halsey bouncing directly to the inside of the exit turn 4.
Great maneuver here to jump to the inside of the 19 of Tyler Dingler, but it's close action off of Tuesday. Almost banged Norris down the back straightaway into 3. We'll get a good shot of what it looks like to ride around Dover here as they get the gyro cam look to the side there. Well, Dingler, look how close and tight it gets on exit, and that's why it's so tough to pass on the bottom. This track, there's not a lot of room at all. Through the corners, it's very wide, but on exit, it tightens up very, very quickly, and it's hard to keep that truck off that truck on the outside.
You got to see those hands working off the exit of turn 2. Austin Halsey is going to have to just settle in, watch the drivers ahead of him, and hope that he doesn't lose more positions. As drivers up front, Malik Kuntz got the pole award, had the major scare on the initial start, but grabbed the lead back on lap number 3. And Joshua Kanata deciding to just settle in, save some fuel. But both of these drivers up front, Zach, putting down the fastest laps of anyone on track. Fuel saving doesn't seem to be in mind for either of our top 2.
It really does not seem to be that way, and I've been watching the lap times. I mean, they're 2 tenths quicker than any of the group behind them. I'm wondering if that is, a little less or more aggression being shown by them not to save tires here. But Logan Brakey up the 3rd right here. This is a great run for him. As it looks like Blake Hoppy in the 31. He makes the pass on GTA Rosari, so moves himself up into the top 5. Another rookie here showing out tonight.
Blake Hoppy has had some decent speed, as 31 has been one of the drivers inside the top 10 based off practice, qualifying, just hoping to find that great finishing speed is the 31. And I mean, looking at the trends we've seen at previous seasons, this 31 could be a threat to watch out for once the playoffs come around. And still trying to settle in and get used to kind of the driving styles of ISRC, Larry Production Truck Series. A very aggressive group to run around. Sometimes it takes about 5 to 6 races to get into the motions.
It really does. This group, you got to get used to them, and you know that's why it's so tough to come in here and win. You know, these guys are all veterans that have run in this league for many times, and they feel like when they're a veteran, they deserve certain stuff over drivers who haven't been there as long, and they make them earn the respect. And it definitely takes a little bit of time for you getting used to this group here. But it looks like Blake already all over the back of a champion. That's a good sign for him here early into his career here at ISRC. If you're able to compete with champions, then you might be able to put yourself in that position one day also.
Running in behind a champion and former winner of Trenton Jump. As you look back to GT Rosari, Cody Reed, these two drivers battling for 6th position as they drive by Tyler Horn. Horn was in pit road after dealing with some required damage after slamming into the outside wall. 26, 4 laps down after getting the damage to repair. Another driver that's going to be multiple laps down, Aldi Fonseca, got a black flag, and I believe, Zach, it was passing someone before they crossed the start-finish line, immediately had to come into pit road. It's a frustrating thing to start tonight's race off, but luckily is 2 laps down and is the first driver to be a lap down at least. So if a yellow flag comes out, should be grabbing that lucky dog position.
And the other lucky case from there is the last car on the lead lap is Eric Stampin, the 53, right up ahead of him. And Eric's about 11 seconds behind our leader, Malik Kuntz. So still at least another 13 to 14 seconds that has to be gained by our leader on the back of this group before he puts another another truck a lap down. Then Ollie would really be in a tough spot. He's hoping that caution does come out, because if we do go those 70 laps of this stage, I'm thinking we may have a few trucks go a lap down, and with that, it would really trap Fonseca in a terrible spot and maybe put him in an unrecoverable position.
Especially if we have the same race that we had last season. Only one caution was at the stage break. Also was an incident between our leader, John Forbes, and Trenton Jump. Allowed Trenton Jump to get into victory lane last season, and only one caution is not going to help Aldi Fonseca use multiple yellows get back into the mix. As we hop on board the back front bumper of Blake Hoppy in the 31, seeing Trenton Jump, last season's winner of this race, settling in 4th. Just taking it easy, it looks like, for Trenton Jump, as he is officially one of our biggest movers of the race. In the first 15 laps, he was the biggest mover, but Danny Cochran's taken that crown in the last 5 laps.
Danny Cochran has is Hoppy not giving up here all over the back bumper of Trenton Jump. He actually goes a little bit wide here onto the entry of 3 and 4. And we'll see, is Jump, kind of waiting in the wings right now, saving his equipment as a past winner here. You would think he's got something very strong in his back pocket for this racetrack. But I will say, over the time, iRacing does have the ebbs and flows of the setups will change. We'll get updates on iRacing. There'll be just slight little feels that go different ways for certain tracks. And I know this is a track for a lot of people that is very hit or miss. You're either really, really good here, or you're just way off, as it takes a very certain style to make speed around this giant concrete 1-mile racetrack. So we'll see if Jump can carry that success over, or is he starting to struggle as this run continues on.
Trying to stay with some good pace. No steal, though. In a position where the Eat Machine needs to gain as many points as possible. Had a 1-race suspension after intentionally wrecking Malik Kuntz at Auto Club. Another driver that was given a 1-race suspension was TJ Crampton that race that ran into Danny Cochran. And both those drivers need some major points. TJ Crampton not showing back up here tonight. Noah Steele does. And Zach, for this 8 Machine, luckily, again, it's just a 1-race suspension, so it's still redeemable to come back for the rest of this regular season, as we're just about to hit the halfway marker. But this 8 obviously needs a good run here tonight.
He really does. You got to come back after that and, stop some of the bleeding that happened with you missing a race. That can actually have a huge effect on your chances of getting to those playoffs. But we've seen Noah still be very, very strong before. We've seen him win before, so we can't take out those possibilities. But sitting 28th in points right now, I mean, with him and Mark Whitley back there, Mark Whitley's even in the 27th position. Those are two guys that They're going to be looking to get their season turned around here starting tonight at Dover. As we're checking out Nick Crawford right now. But watching some of the lap times, he's been very, very quick, but all of the lap times are starting to even out, and even our leaders starting to slow down a little bit. This mid group that was losing time early in the run to the leaders, starting to gain back up. It's closing up front as our top 9 all within 4 seconds.
Nick Crawford, as well as his teammate Christopher Norris behind him. Always interesting to see what their strategies are coming into these races that are known for having a little bit of a longer run at times, and the learning stages from stage 1 to stage 2 on how these drivers want to react, attacking or taking their times on pace. 74-38, Zach, looking to be one of the drivers that are okay with backing off, saving their stuff for the longer run. I'm curious if we're going to be seeing that switch up that we usually do at most races when they get a little bit more aggressive on the second half.
We very well could start seeing that come into factor as we're nearing the second half of this first stage here, as we're on lap 33. So 2 laps here, we'll be halfway through the stage, and I think you might see them turn up the wick a little bit, but it's going to get tough. The closer they get to this group, the worse their truck's going to drive. So that's why saving sometimes can come back to backfire. It's just too many people to pass. As it looks like now, Blake Hoppy trying to get around Trenton Jump and take over that 4th position. This 31 looking quick at the moment. He could be a threat for a win here tonight.
And 31 able to make the pass, finally saw an opening in a Trenton Jump driving wide and a little bit tight on entry, gave the spot to the 31, poked the nose on the inside lane, and after that, pass was clean and easy. Now Cuddy Reed trying to set up to get by Trenton Jump. He's right on the back bumper of the 46 machine, and you see how Cody's trying to find that same opening, get to the inside, and hope to make the pass as quickly as possible. But again, now you're just banking on a mistake to happen as GT Rosari gets a little close to the outside wall at the exit 2.
Very, very close for that 14 there off the exit 2. That could have been a huge hit, and damage will hurt you a ton. I think drivers such as like Mark Whitley, who's falling still throughout the field, it shows damage on your right front fender is not something you want to have, because it can play a really big part in you falling back through the field. And as I say that, actually Mark Whitley is on pit road, so he's electing to go with a pit stop here halfway through the stage, and this is something I thought we might see from a few people.
And it was a very risky pit stop entry for the 77 Mark Whitley, as he almost got ran over from Ryan Bird. Luckily there wasn't contact, but Zach, pit stops, this is probably one of the top 3 most difficult pit entries to get into. One on the risk factor of just entering by yourself, and then adding cars around you certainly doesn't help.
It is definitely up there. It's definitely top 3. I'd say maybe even top 2. There's really only a few other places that I think can even compare what's close to it. But getting off this high bank concrete track at the speeds we're carrying, we're carrying upwards of 150, 160, almost 170 mile an hour on the entry of these corners. Getting it slowed down and onto that flat apron, as the transition there is very abrupt and very aggressive. It's almost like you're driving off a cliff when you transition onto that apron, as your car kind of just falls onto it. It's very easy to make those mistakes. And also the other tough spot, 35 mile an hour for pit road speed. It feels like you're crawling when you get on pit road after going upwards of 160 mile an hour on the racetrack.
I mean, it's so slow just coming into pit road, taking 4 tires and fuel. Mark Whitley is currently 2 laps down, as he is now going to have to motor his way to get at least a lap back before these drivers come into pit road. Again, throughout the strategy, drivers are going to test out who can save enough fuel to take it to the end of the stage. Others are going to decide to come into pit road, and one of those that's going to be joining Mark Whitley, Kyle Rochelle, just entered pit road for the 21.
Another strategy call here, and I'm not surprised that drivers farther back are electing to do this. I actually think this will somewhat work actually well. Yes, they will fall upwards of 2 laps down, but they might be able to gain back track position over from where they were before the run. I don't think this will be winning strategies for these drivers, since they were so far back before already this pit stop, but they might be able to gain from where they were going to be at the end of the stage if they did stay out. So I think you'll have a lot of drivers that do stay out the full 70 laps, but I think you'll have a handful of them that do elect to do this strategy here to get the tires and run them out to the end of the stage here.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just joining us, we are 41 laps in of 170. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me is Zach Hall. Running productions in the background is Robert Moyer Jr. here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. You're watching the ISRC Larry Art Productions Truck Series, race number 5. The Armadillas keep digging. 170 at Dover. In tonight's race, we have a stage break at end of lap 70. In the current state of this race, we've had a couple of incidences that have not brought out yellows. We've been clean and green all the way through. And we are waiting to see who's going to come into pit road, who's can save enough fuel to take it to the end of this stage. You see two very different strategies, and you're about to see who's going to get the winning one. As another driver hits pit road, that's Austin Halsey, who actually misses his pit entry. The 4 has to go back around again.
There at pit road, showing up once again how tough it is to get there. And that's a common syndrome you'll have, is people missing pit road, just misjudging it, trying to get a little too aggressive, gain time, and they miss pit road, and they're only going to lose time by having the slow down and speed back up here. As we'll see Halsey come down this time, get a little bit less aggressive here, possibly get it down to 35 mile an hour and miss those barrels, and even lock up on entry there, trying to get it slowed down to pit speed. As you can see, he's at a crawl now all the way around this long pit road, and lost a ton of time by missing it the first time around.
And coming into pit road, expecting 4 tires and fuel to get back out on track. And Zach, another factor besides just coming into pit road, you're going to have a major difference on tires when you've got drivers that have taken a set, that just came into pit road, and those that aren't. This is going to get dangerous for drivers that are known for getting aggressive, such as the 21 of Kyle Rochelle, who's running about 1.5 seconds, almost 2 seconds faster than the rest of the field.
It is a wild ride right now for a few of those drivers for sure. Mark Whitley, Kyle Rochelle, they're just really grinding through the field right now. And Kyle Rochelle was even right in the middle of like the top 5 battle right now. So it's really made things very, very interesting, as he's almost made it 3 wide a couple times behind this group here that he's trying to make his way through. As the GTers already know, still battling for position is now the 21, but a duck low and try to carry that speed and get to the inside of the 8 here heading into 1. But it just shows you the difference on speed, but you got to make it through efficiently. That time right there held up a ton and ran pretty much the same speed as everyone else on the old tires.
That was one of the prime ways you can allow a faster driver to get by. Let him have the entry and then cover off in the center of the corner like Noah Steele did, not allowing GT Rosario to make the pass. The 14 actually being hindered on losing the amount of run that he needed off the exit of turn 2, allowing Nick Crawford to be in the picture to make the pass for 8th position. As the field continues to run down lap after lap, again, our stage break at the end of lap 70. And as we get closer and closer, the fuel should be good for a lot of these drivers that were kind of focusing on saving fuel. But Zach, for our front 2, technically our front 3, those are the 3 drivers that have been very aggressive on this run initially. Now have decided to back off on their pace. Can they make it to the end of this run, or will they have to think about pit stops?
I think that's a great question to have in mind because of how close the fuel window is here for that lap 70 stage. Remember, it is the completion of lap 70, folks, but you got to get back around. So technically 71 laps is what you need to take it here. And we've seen in the past that be an issue, especially for the leaders when it comes down to the stage end, is you're using much more throttle usage and, just much more speed when you're out front. That burns a little bit more fuel, so you're in a worse position. But you can see right here, Blake Hoppe, he's looking strong as he's going to dive to the inside here and look for a top 3 position here, Sam. And this is huge, 2 seconds behind the leader. He's got some time still. We could see him possibly have a chance to go up here and battle for second.
Has found an opening and just takes it every single time. The 31 has that opening at the halfway marker around lap 30. Decided that was the go time. Saved enough tires and has been on the aggression. The 31 started in 5th place, moved up 2 positions. And now Hoppe is on the charge to try to catch up to Joshua Kanata, Malik Kuntz. That both are in a slight danger because they're both being ran down by drivers that have already came into pit road. Mark Whitley going to be 1 lap down. Joshua Freed going to be 1 lap down. And with the drivers that are stuck 2 laps down, such as Austin Halsey, Ollie Fonseca, and Tyler Horn that's 4 laps down, just got to be concerned on if the caution flag does not come out to save these drivers. We're going to see a lot of guys trapped either 1 lap down or 2 laps down at our stage break. Someone can save enough fuel as Mason Cassidy comes into pit road.
More and more drivers hitting pit road here. And those tires starting to fall away for our leaders. They're into the 25-second bracket. I mean, we're already seeing upwards of almost 2.2 seconds of fall off from our leader up front, Malik Kuntz. And that's going to allow these drivers that have pit to really gain a ton of time back on them, with being a second a lap faster the majority of the time. Is now you're going to see Mark Whitley here dive to the inside of the 19 Tyler Dingler, and you're going to see him just cut through this field like he's a knife in its hot butter, because literally, I mean, the tires are just everything when it comes to the speed around this concrete 1 mile.
And also for the 77 his goal, catch up to Joshua Freed and get by the 39 machine. That's going to be a difficult task. when freed, it's about a half car length, half a track ahead of the 77. They're going to keep at that battle on who could have the lucky dog as these laps continue to tick away. Looking at some of the closer battles that are happening on track. You got a battle going on for 13th position, as well as drivers are closing the gap for 6th and 7th. But this is the battle for 13th. That Anthony Gaudio able to get by Matt Upbrook, who falls back to 15th. Tyler Dangler trying to get a little bit aggressive for the 19 on the back bumper of the 3.
Tyler Dangler looking strong here late into the long run, as it looks like he saved a little bit of Tyler, and right now Gaudio starting to struggle. Maybe could break this 19 up into a top 13 position, and then from there, maybe look to run the next driver down and get that position. But it's tough. Once you get to somebody, if they take away your line, it puts you in a position where you really cannot overdrive your truck. That turbulent air that's thrown off the rear of those cars really hurts the truck behind, and you lose tons of grip when you're right behind them in the corner.
Some drivers trying different strategies in pit road, as Tyler Dangler trying to get opening on Anthony Gaudio. Drivers have come to pit road. Some have missed their pit entry and have been in pit road longer than they would like. But Ryan Ferraro going with opposite. Going to be coming into pit road, just topping off on fuel, and then going to get back out on track, trying to minimize the amount of time that's going to be lost for the 30 Ford machine. While other passes happen on track, the pass for second, easy move. Blake Hoppy up to second, getting by that of Joshua Kanata.
And he is flying right now, Sam. Only driver really around him is that's still in the 24-second bracket, while the rest of the leaders have dropped down to the 25s. And it looks like Kanata and even our leader Malik Kuntz really starting to struggle, as it's about a second now for Hoppy up to the 98, and they got clear track ahead. We'll see what the times are like once they get some clear racetrack like they have here.
Trying to find some clearance. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Monday night coverage of the ISRC Larry Art Productions Truck Series. Tonight's race number 5, is the Armadillas keep digging 170 at Dover, as the field is getting prepared for the end of the stage. 11 laps to find out who will be at getting our top 10 stage points and who's going to be on the lead lap. But caution flag waves, yellow strikes, and it's trouble for drivers trying to get rolling. And it's interesting timing for this. Zach, I don't think anyone was expecting to see a caution pop up now.
That they were not, man. This is interesting timing for sure, and we'll see what these drivers elect to do here. Is still trying to figure out exactly what brought out this yellow here, Sam. This must have been a one truck incident.
It was Matt Upbrook getting completely ran over by Kyle Rochelle, and that was the danger of drivers that were hoping to not have a yellow flag come out, and Kyle Rochelle wasn't prepared for the closing rate and absolutely ran over the 15.
Such a tough ordeal there right in the middle of all these sequences, and this has trapped a ton of people a lap down. Here's where we're going to see it on the instant replays. Rochelle just coming up to the back bumper, yeah, and that's kind of like you said it, Sam. Just literally misjudged it there and couldn't get to the outside quick enough on the 15 and spun him around.
Mason Cassidy able to avoid, but this is going to trap a lot of drivers one lap down. And looking at where drivers' positioning is, I believe Cody Smith might be getting the lucky dog spot, but Mark Whitley going to be trapped and trying to go for a wave around. Kyle Rochelle going to be going for a wave around, as well as Austin Halsey, Ryan Ferraro, Ollie Fonseca, Mason Cassidy, Justin Smith, all hoping for a wave around. But from 23rd position on back, all going to be trapped at least one lap down. And that's a frustrating spot to be, as our first caution waves, and the timing of this yellow doesn't work out for the rest of the field, because this stage is not over just yet. It's still going to be a 5-lap dash to see who's getting stage points.
That it will be, Sam. This is going to be fun to watch, man, right here. These drivers get aggressive and use this tire here for a little bit of a dash to the end. We're going to see if we do get a late race restart. This could be somewhat of a telltale sign of what we can see for that. That's going to be fun to watch. 3 trucks staying out. Eric Stamp, Martin Morales, and it looks like Cody Smith and the 7 have all yet to pit. We'll see what they elect to do here, and we'll see how long they can get fired off before we get going. As it looks like maybe this time by Martin Morales and Cody Smith will pit. So that just leaves Eric Stamp on his lonesome out here, Sam.
And with Eric Stamp staying out, this could be forcing drivers like Mark Whitley, Kyle Rochelle, all to fall back in line and not be given the wave around. They're going to be hoping for it, but it looks to be, again, Cody Smith gets the lucky dog position. A lot of drivers waiting for the official call, and once we get to the one to go, we're going to be seeing all these drivers in front of the 53 machine either go backwards or they're going to finally given the wave around. And Zach, this is one of those crucial moments that you're hoping for. Cross your fingers. You're going to be given the right to pass the pace car and go forward.
You're really hoping for it for sure. And if they're ahead of Eric Stamp, they should be good when we get the one to green here next time by. They should all be able to get waved around. But still, I mean, this is going to put a lot of people in the battle for the lucky dog. And that stage coming out at lap 70 there, they know a quick caution's about to happen. So all these drivers are about to be super, super aggressive with each other. And someone like Fonseca, who really wants to get back on the lead lap for him after that penalty at the start of this race, the big detriment for him, he's on his tires that he started this race with compared to the other drivers around him of all pit. That's why they got trapped lapped down.
Yeah, I mean, Eric Stamp not coming into pit road going to be interesting for the 53. The only driver to stay out on this set. Everyone else just came into pit road. They're going to be about 2 seconds faster than Eric Stamp once we get restarted and rolling. And we're waiting for the pace car, pulls past the lead lap driver, past the starting line. And here we go. Time to get stacked up and ready to take off. All the drivers that were in front of Eric Stamp going to be able to go. They're going to try to catch up to the end of the line, take the wave around. Leaving us with 21 drivers on the lead lap. Eric Stamp leading the way. Zach, we saw some wheel spin and some issues at the initial start of this race. Eric Stamp, what are you feeling if you're that 53 on this restart?
Oh, you better have an egg underneath that throttle pedal that you're not willing to break, because he's going to have very precise inputs here. And with the control of this field, someone like Malik Kuntz, who saw what happened to him and Ali Fonseca with their first start, it really made things very, very interesting. I think we're definitely going to see wheel spin. I don't know how well this 53 is actually going to get going here. This could stack everything up in the wall.
Well, if we're looking at the trends, one of them have already been broken here tonight, and that's having the first caution flag come out at the stage break. We had it come out just a couple laps too soon. Into the restart zone, Eric Stamp, Malik Kuntz. The stage ain't done yet as we are back to green flag action. Eric Stamp gets a fabulous launch for himself. Malik Kuntz a little skittish from the initial launch from the start of the race. He'll now fall for the battling for second position as Blake Hoppy aggressive, pushing, but it's Eric Stamp, the best pick you could ask for, holding off the 31.
And the 31 got stuck behind the 53. I think the 53 was looking to get out the way down the back straightaway as the 31 was looking to make the move. And it just was an unfortunate timing error there from the 31. Man, Eric Stamp is just getting swamped right now.
Eric Stamp just in one corner from the lead back to 15th position. Malik Kuntz going to be the lead driver. 5 laps to go before the stage is done. But if a caution flag would to come out now, that would be the stage. Top 10 drivers get bonus points. And the 98 hoping to grab some of his best stage points ever in his ISRC Truck Series career. But he's got to be careful. We've got Logan Brakey hoping to get those maximum stage points as well.
That he is. Logan Brakey looking very, very good here tonight at Dover, and especially when it comes to the first 40 laps of the run, he looked very, very strong. Started to struggle a little bit later there, but the strength was in the early part, and right now this is all about short run speed, and he's got really a good look on this 98, and he might have a chance to maybe look to the outside or to the inside here heading into one.
Going to be setting up for the exit of turn 2. Goes a little bit wide, hoping for a great launch out of the exit of the corner. And here comes Logan Brakey, hoping to maximize the speed. Gets a little bit too close to the outside wall. Has to back out and loss of major time. Goes to the 29, setting up, preparing once again for another pass as we enter 2 laps to go before stage break is done. Top 10 drivers get stage bonus points, and one driver that got really pushed out of our top 10 was Christopher Norris from 8th back to 13th in just a small margin. Drivers in the middle of the pack really getting aggressive as they finally single file out.
Yeah, I think he had a little bit of a condition where he got loose, had to back out of it, and really lost him some time, but it's showing the aggression level from all of these drivers here as they're on the final lap of stage number 1 here tonight. And Malik Kuntz looking to hold off that 29 and get the points he needs, but it's Nick Crawford right here trying to hold back his spots. It looks like Malik's going to be able to hold on to this thing.
Malik Kuntz, 98 machine, out of the exit of turn number 4, grabbing your Team Watson Racing setup, stage break win, and give him the full 10 points for winning the stage. Massive run for himself, but at what cost was it for the 98 machine? Because he got real close to that outside wall.
Yeah, actually got into it. Luckily for him, no damage on the right side. It was just a very slight hit, but that could have been huge for him, Sam. We've seen how much it really hurt Mark Whitley early in this race. It could have been a very big problem for him, as luckily no damage for the 98 in our stage winner.
And with our stage winner coming around the course, congratulations, the 98 machine. Logan Brakey gonna get the second in the stage with Joshua Kanata, Cody Reed, Trenton Jump, Nick Crawford, Noah Steele, Blake Hoppy, GT Rosari, and Danny Cochran would be your 10 drivers getting stage bonus points. Just missing out was Anthony Gaudio, Ryan Bird, and Christopher Norris. But as these drivers were running and finishing out the stage, Zach, because of the timing of the yellow, a lot of drivers lost their hopes of wanting to finish out this race. Mason Cassidy, Joshua Freed, both are not going to continue to race, as they both have left the session, and a little bit of mind games going on in pit road.
Mind games indeed here, Sam. We had some fakes going down. Malik Kuntz stays out. Looks like Logan Brakey will be the first of the drivers to hit pit road, along with others that are farther back into the field. But split decision all around, but I think a lot of drivers electing here to save a set of tires. It looks like Blake Hoppy's going to follow Brakey down also.
Well, because they're not coming into pit road, let's talk to our stage winner a little bit sooner. Let's see if we can queue up Adam Malik Kuntz and get his thoughts on this run, the 98. Maybe didn't start out the season whether he wanted, but let's see if we can queue him up. 98 machine of Malik Kuntz, you got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Malik, you come away with the stage win. Man, how are you feeling right now? And how's that truck feeling after our first 70 laps of the run?
Oh, I feel pretty good. This is one of my favorite tracks, and I noticed last season with this race, the first stage we went through the first stage, so I think all of us were really conserving tire right there, and we ended up getting a caution, and I know you had to pit, but I wasn't sure about pitting now that we got our stage brake caution, but it seems like it's worked out pretty good staying out.
It does seem to work very well for you there, Malik. I mean, how critical do you think staying out front here and keeping the clean air on the nose of that 98 is going to be here for the end of this race?
Oh, I think track position's everything. You get back in the field, you just feel your right side tires trying to get through the field, so I just chose to stay out, and I think clean air is a lot. I was kind of able to control that stage, just leaving a gap between me and whoever was in second, and just went like that.
It went as great as you can ask for. Malik, you're going to be starting out front. Any concerns with seeing some of those other drivers taking tires and you didn't?
No, not really. I think they're too far back to really make a difference on 4 or 5 lap tires.
Well, Malik, we're excited to see how you're going to run. Congratulations on being our stage winner here tonight. We'll send you back to your team. Good luck.
Thanks.
As that will be the 98 machine of Malik Kuntz. It's going to be your Team Watson Racing setup stage winner for the 98 machine. And it's always good to see some of these drivers that maybe have been having some poor luck get some good momentum, getting a stage win. Zach, this 98 really did need that stage win, as he came in tonight being 19th in points and was in that kind of a slump phase of trying to find some good points to move forward.
This was huge for him. Those 10 bonus points are a good thing to fall back on, man. Not only that, but even if he doesn't win this race and he finishes still somewhere in the top 10, he's going to probably come out of this race with a lot of points, higher than most out here. So he wants to finish it off with a win, of course, but those stage points are definitely something that you take in your mind and you're like, well, at least I do know if something does go slightly wrong and we can't finish where we'd like, we still have a good point stand. So that's critical for him, for somebody who's had such a tough start to the season and really just a tough overall career here at ISRC, with a lot of speed being shown. But again, it's just those things that have been plaguing him, is those finishes. We'll see if he can finish it off here tonight, though, as Dover's been a tough one for that pole setter, though.
That it certainly has been. Malik Kuntz, Joshua Kanata, Cody Reed, as well as Trenton Jump, Nick Crawford, your top 5. First drivers that decided to come into pit road will be Logan Brakey, Matt Uppbrook in the 15. Logan, though, interesting note for the 29 machine. He pulled it into pit road, did not get service, went by his box, felt like he was going to be losing too much positions by coming in and getting service done. Interesting call by the 29, as now he'll be starting in the middle of the field. First drivers with fresh rubber are going to be in 12th spot with Blake Hoppy, but up front, Malik Kuntz, Joshua Kanata, they see the pace car pull up and let the Armadillas keep digging. 170 back to green flag conditions, as we're going to be seeing the 98-16 roar down into turn number 1.
There we go. Battle for second is on Cody Reed. Look at him. Power to the inside of the 16 of Joshua Kanata. And that's great for Cody Reed, who was looking strong at the end of that long run there before we got the caution. This could be a big night for Cody Reed, who's worked his way up 7 spots already. And that is looking great for the 25 team.
Again, a lot of knowledge of who is willing to get aggressive here under this condition. Some drivers really got a lot of good numbers on what their tire states were after that first stint before a first caution flag came out at lap 60. Now everyone is going to probably be in a little bit of more of aggressive state if you're Cody Reed, that Nick Crawford, or others behind. But Malik Kuntz still up front and trying to become our 4th different winner at Dover. But Cody Reed has other minds, the 25 to the inside.
Not too surprised to see these drivers getting as aggressive as they are. As you see right here, Malik Kuntz trying to hold it on the quarter panel of the 25, but he's going to clear. But the 98's not going to give up. He opens the door back up, but the 25 should have the room here to drive it in there, clear the 98, and now have the clean air out front. Cody Reed loving what he's seen out front, but it's going to be Malik Kuntz fighting back to the inside. They're not giving up on this battle.
So on an opportunity, ducks it back to the inside lane, but they're going to stay side by side. Cody Reed should have the advantage on the exit as long as the 98 doesn't push high into the 25. They continue to drag race into turn 3, but the driver that's licking his chops, it's the 46 at Trenton Jump. Watching these two battle for the lead position, they're both not getting the advantage of clean air because they are both using up their tires greatly in this battle. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Trent Jump, as well as Nick Crawford and Joshua Kanata, just waiting and seeing what these front two are battling for.
Oh, with how these two are battling, they are definitely destroying the tire right now, trying to keep the clean air. They know how valuable it is. That's where, like you said, Trent Jump, Joshua Kanata, Nick Crawford, they love what they're seeing right now. They're saying, go ahead, guys, battle it up, because you're going to be coming right back to us as this run goes on. But not surprised with how short this run's going to be here before a pit stop. These drivers are really electing to get very, very aggressive. I think when you hit around lap 120, you're going to see pit road get very busy here.
They shouldn't. They should be. As Trenton Jump right on the back bumper of Cody Reed as Malik Kuntz takes the lead position back, got the better launch out of the corner, and now the 25 defending as Trenton Jump setting up on where to go. Got to give a huge shout out to Robert Morey Jr. He's having fun with the controller, watching these different cameras and kind of being our mobile camera right now. Zach have seen all the different angles from Cody Reed, who's been kind of our tripod for this run.
That he has been. Cody Reed has been the center of attention right there as he's been carrying them cameras to allow us to get those shots. But Trenton Jump kind of surprised me that first run. I was thinking to have a lot more long run pace in this 46. Didn't seem to have it, but I will tell you this much. He could have learned exactly what he did wrong in the first run and could be looking to change it up. Right here, running a lower groove than these two up front, getting some clean air on the nose. I like that strategy of going where they're not ahead of you.
And drivers that came into pit road took 4 tires and fuel. Back in 8th place is going to be the first of those drivers. Danny Cochran setting up, getting by Logan Brakey, who again just drove through his box. Did not take 4 tires and fuel. It was the 29. He is losing ground at this current moment. And the two of Danny Cochran, biggest mover so far, started back in 23rd position, has been slowly chipping away. And now instead of the top 10, this two could be a threat if we see another late caution later on in this race.
This is what Danny Cochran needs to, Sam. Coming in tonight, 18th in points here, needs to start getting the ball rolling in the right way, starting here at race number 5 at Dover. And after the last week at Canadian Tire, he's definitely wanting to come bounce back after that mistake. But look at this gaggle of trucks. This is the 29 Tyler Dingler trying to hold off this group, but he's got Kyle Rochelle along with the 24 Ali Fonseca pounding him.
And as well, going to be side by side, Matt Uppbrook going to be the other driver that's mixed in between. As Matt Uppbrook dashes to the inside lane, he's got to get back out of it. They're going to be stacked side by side, but a very shallow entry. The 15's got to break it just a little bit more aggressively than the rest of the field. And that's going to accordion effect his way of pushing everyone else back. There's another driver we know that could be fast. It's Matt. It's going to be Matt. I've seen the 31 of Hoppy and Matt Uppbrook side by side as the 31. He's got to find some extra speed to go moving forward.
He really does with that pit stop. he's got to get going, Sam, for sure, with how much ground he's lost to this group. Is we're going to see Dakota Moniz trying to look to the inside of the 15 now. On the 15, he's been kind of pushed all around here and really been losing a ton of spots here lately with this group. It's just showing that you got to be able to get to that bottom and hold these drivers back. If you miss your marks, you can quickly be pushed up out the groove and falling farther into the clutches of the rest of the field. But this group is so stacked up that if there is an issue from anywhere, really starting from the 8th position on, we could have a big old wreck.
As the field is single filing out, looks to be a lot of the drivers in LeCun still holding the lead position. Others are just outside of the top 10 that continue to be side by side. But Mark Whitley, 18th position, trying to recover right now, Zach. And it just continued just to show what this season's been like for Mark Whitley. Missed out on last week, and now the 77 having another dismal night where he is so far back in the points, back in 27th in points is Mark Whitley. He's got to find that same strength that he's shown season in and season out. But the question is, when will that switch finally flip?
He's going to have to flip that switch for sure, because it's just not been panning out well for this team. Is that right front fender still very hurt, and that's what's holding back Mark Whitley. Is that damage will really hurt you at a very aero-sensitive track like Dover at such high speeds. You need as much aero grip as possible built by the front end of that truck, and with that damage, he's just not able to get the same grip that others are, and he's really having to struggle here. Is up ahead of him, they were just going at it. It looks like Ryan Ferraro with that lap, one lap down, trying to battle up there to get the lucky dog position with Ali Fonseca driving away. He's being aggressive with these lead lap trucks.
And it's all being kind of capped off. Seeing Tyler Dangler as well as Logan Brakey both on older tires, just swamped by those that already taken their second set of tires this race, and not able to get by Tyler Dangler on Ryan Ferraro. And just everyone stacked on top of one another, and you're kind of just trusting the lead driver to keep some good momentum and pace. Otherwise, you could be seeing a scare, as there almost was contact there between those three.
So close this action is Mark Whitley trying to take advantage and go around the outside of this group, and he's almost into the wall once again. He might have even lightly brushed it as he's into the outside of the 19 of Tyler Dingler there. But man, oh man, what a close call there from Mark Whitley. Once again, looking to maybe get more damage on that right front fender that's already been plaguing him. This group just so stacked up, and Logan Brakey right ahead of him. He's battling, looks like now, with the lap truck of Ryan Ferraro, who's continuing his way forward, trying to track down Ali Fonseca, as that battle for the lucky dog is still happening.
Trying to hold on, stay stable, but it's looked to be a little bit too difficult. Side by side, hard for these drivers deeper in the field as Mark Whitley finally able to get by, as the majority of the field up front have been single file. For us up in the booth, it is closing in on lap 100, and it might be time to finally take that one break for the race. It's been a good one to watch as Blake Hobby sets up the pass to get by for 8th position on Noah Steele. We will be back in just a few moments to give you more coverage of Dover as the Armadillas keep digging. The ISRC Learning Our Production Truck Series will be back in just a few moments to give you the rest of Dover's action. And trouble strikes the course as we march over lap 100. Drivers going into pit road to get service done, but issues striking for GT Rosari and as well going to be for Noah Steele as both those drivers getting repairs done. This is what brought out the caution that has these drivers coming into pit road. Just a little bit of miscommunication on where the driver was, maybe a little bit of lack of awareness. And the drivers get into one another on the middle of the straightaway. And then Zach, from here on out, it looks like it's just full throttle and push the 14 until a yellow flag comes out.
That it does look like that. Looks like they maybe was trying to make sure the 14 got off of them, and hopefully it was kept, the pushing would get them off, but it just didn't ever stop until they got right here into one where he finally could get around the outside of them. But yeah, this caution here coming at an interesting timing too, right on the edge of the fuel window where these guys have pit. It's right here right at lap 100 to 101. They should all be good to make it to the end if we go green here, so we could get one of the longest runs of the day if we stay caution free. That could put these guys in an interesting situation. And a driver that continued to just gain spots after gaining spots, and it was really happening right there under our commercial break. Danny Cochran got all the way up to the third position, and he came off pit road here I believe in the second spot.
That he did, and having 11 laps of fresher tires after the initial caution a few laps ago. Our second caution today, that came out. Danny Cochran has done fabulous using up the extra rubber. Well, now they're going to be reset. Let's see if the two can try to maximize when they're on equal footing, as Malik Kuntz has been the dominant driver of the night. And looking at the trends for past races, usually when we talk about a race, it's difficult when you lead the most laps to win the race. Well, it's happened before. The last time that these drivers were here at Dover in season 4, it was Trent Jump, led the most laps and won the race. Malik Kuntz at least has that on his side. But again, the 98 has the bad omen of having the pole award, where the driver that gets the pole usually is wrecked out anywhere with 30 laps to go to 100 laps to go. We're still in that zone, and the 98 has to be making sure that he's still perfect until we're done with this race.
Yeah, it's coming up to that time here, Sam, for him if that trend continues. So we'll see what happens for the 98 team. But I think this Danny Cochran is going to be interesting to see now on equal footing with the tires up here to the second position, 21 spots up from where he started. What does he have for the 98, and how aggressive is he willing to get? Because if we do go green, this is going to be a long run. If he buys too aggressive, they could fall off at the very end of this race.
Who will survive? Who will move forward? Thank you so much to everyone that's been watching with us here tonight as we're about to get back to green flag racing. If you haven't done already, let's share the video, get as many eyes on this series. The ISRC Truck Series has been a good one as Malik Kuntz takes the green, the 98, hoping that he would be clear. Not as good of a launch as he was hoping for, and they're going to be dead side by side on the entry of turn 1. Here we go, Zach on the exit of turn 2.
Worst case scenario for the 98, doesn't clear the 2 heading into 1 as the 2 timed it very well there in the restart zone and was able to get alongside. This is now going to be, in my opinion, Danny Cochran's best strength here is this outside groove, but how well will he be able to make this pass? It seems like the bottom is hanging in there very tough, but who's going to get aggressive here and poke their nose in there and try to make it a 3-man battle? It looks like Reed kind of just waiting in the wings.
Cody Reed gonna be settling into contact though. Malik Kuntz, Danny Cochran, and Danny gets sent to the outside wall. The 2 with the advantage, now losing all the ground you could ask for. As from the lead back to last in all the lead lap drivers have gotten by. And just like that, this track shows how dangerous it can be. Required damage for Danny Cochran. The 7 to Cody Smith also having issues as the 7S is coming to pit road and the 2 machine forced to come into pit road.
Right front broken on the 2 machine of Danny Cochran, and he's going to have to bring it immediately to pit road. And watch that, Sam. He got loose off of 2 on the outside, was never in the position with clean air on the nose probably all night. This truck stepped sideways, got into Malik Kuntz, and from there, once he hit him, he bounced off of the 98 straight into the wall in the right front. Just took the brunt of that impact. Unfortunately for Danny Cochran, his bad luck continues after his championship season. It's just not been a turnaround ever since winning that championship.
Well, that checks another mark on my bingo card of things that may happen at Dover. Lead issues of having first place and second place have contact to take out who was leading at the time. And Danny Cochran going to be taking that mark. And I mean, it's always wild when you look at the trends. We've been following a series for so long. And Malik Kuntz, like you said, was not the main factor there. Danny Cochran breaking loose. And I'm curious for Danny if he's going to recognize that or if he's going to get worrisome of are we having more drivers having issues with Malik, just like what we saw from Noah Steele in the 98? What issues are going to blossom up as another caution comes out, and it's GT Rosari in the 14.
GT once again involved in another incident here, parked on the front straightaway, Sam, and that's tough to see for a former driver, you know, who's come so close to winning here at Dover. And it just looks like, from going back and looking at it myself, maybe all started up ahead of him as a stack up happened off of turn number 4, and maybe it all started around the 24 Ali Fonseca and the 5 of Dakota Moniz, teammates there at Larson line. And that's a tough situation there when teammates are getting into each other and bringing out a yellow.
I mean, it was slightly kind of a double whammy, as there were 2 incidences going on at the same time. You have that of the Ollie, and as well having the teammates getting together. But as well, right in front of this, you see the 23 break loose initially in front of this group. So they're checking up because the 23 backs off, and then they have the double check up because of the teammates having their little bit of an issue that just is putting everyone 3 wide, checking up, and GT Rosari not able to react fast enough and gets right into some contact with the 17.
Big hit there for sure, and just not able to get slowed down enough and into the inside wall. Look at the 17 getting a heavy impact there also. And this new damage model, you can see fender parts flying off, pieces of these trucks becoming part of the racing surface there as the front end falls off of Mason Cassidy's. But tough ordeal there, who, you know, GT is already having a good night, got involved in that incident there with Noah Steele, and then from there you get stuck in the back, and that's when you get stuck in these incidents like he's been in.
And more drivers into pit road to get service done for themselves. As again, the 2 drivers that are officially out of this race is Joshua Freed. Mason Cassidy was out for a while, then decided to get back connected out there on track. Not the situation you would hope for, and gets collected. Another incident that officially calls it a night. As more drivers, 4 tires and fuel going to be grabbed for Cody Reed, Nick Crawford, Trenton Jump, but they're going to be deep in the field in 11th position. Malik Kuntz continuing to say, I want the track position to stay up front. And Blake Hoppy, huge advantage for the 31 as he'll move up to 2nd, as well as Kyle Rochelle up to 3rd.
This is some interesting strategy calls being made here, Sam. This is going to make or break your night. I mean, you know, if you didn't pit here and it stays green, it's going to break your night. If we get a caution here in the next 15 to 20 laps, you're going to be sitting in a good position to look to come down, and the drivers who just pit the last time by, they're going to be looking to come down, and I believe that would be the last set for a lot of drivers if they did come down one more time. So I think this gives the drivers up front who pitted less a little bit more wiggle room to decide what strategy they're going to look to play here for later in this race if we continue to get this rash of yellows here.
Yeah, looking at the drivers in all the pit stops that have been made so far tonight, everyone starting out tonight had 5 total sets to work with. They had 1 set that they had to start the race off, in 4 sets in pit road to divvy out whenever they felt like they needed to come into pit road and get some fresh rubber. Most of the field have used up 3 sets in pit road, left with just 1 to work with. There's 2 drivers, though, that still have 2 sets. That is going to be Logan Brakey and Malik Kuntz. Both of those drivers still have 2 sets tires in pit road to work with. And Zach, with being at their less than 60 laps to go, I would imagine they're thinking about maybe just 1 more pit stop if you really are forced to. But taking 2 steps, you are banking on the rest of the field really following you when you come into pit road.
You really are definitely banking on that. And this is going to be interesting times. I mean, for the drivers that have pit, you know, they've got a long way, in my opinion, still to go forward. They got to really navigate through here and get past this group of drivers, but we'll just see how it works out. I mean, personally, I like the position that Malik is in with the extra set of tires for himself along with Logan Brakey. Those 2 have got to be feeling very, very well off when it comes to that. But at the same time, you know, we're getting down to the end of this race. You don't want to be pitting too many times here because you're not going to have enough time to get back up there. It's just going to come down to the timing. They're definitely going to have more options on the table for them, but it's all going to come down to that timing. And they're going to really hope that this doesn't go green for too long, because I think at some point we're going to see those drivers that pit from that 11th position on back really start to run through the field with those fresher tires, as we see Danny Cochran really make up a lot of ground with just even less fresh laps than that.
And touching on Danny Cochran, officially has called it a night for the 2. We finished 27th this evening. Hate to see it for the driver. Last week was one of our biggest movers in the points. Tonight, going to be one of our biggest losers of Dover. The season 3 champ really has still been trying to get over that championship, a kind of curse that he's been dealing with, and tonight will not be changing his factors. But up front, Malik Kuntz, Lake Hoppy, ready for the restart. Into the Geico restart zone. We're back to green flag action. The Armadillas keep digging, are going to be up front challenging. And Logan Brakey, Eric Stamp, 4th, 5th position. Those are your lead Armadillo drivers as they're trying to figure out how to get by. And another one that's going to be up front, Mark Whitley, putting the pressure. The 77 back in the top 5.
Look at Mark Whitley showing up here late in the race, and this is what he does, man. He's really good at closing out these races and being in position when he needs to, and this could be exactly what that team is looking for. But the new tires are starting to make up a little bit of ground. It's a really big stack up, really, from the 3 truck of Anthony Gaudio on back, as you got Nick Crawford on the fresh tires trying to make his way forward, along with Trenton Jump, Cody Reed, and Christopher Norris, as the Snowy Desert Racing team looks to go through the bottom here and take those new tires to the front.
The 3 Snowy Desert Racing drivers are able to show up here tonight. The 4th was not able to. John Forbes dealing with some suspensions on iRacing. The 11 hopes to be back in 3 weeks as he will be suspended for this race and the next officially on iRacing. You hate to see it for a driver that is going to be practically forced into a must-win scenario, but for the drivers that are on track, it's go time for Nick Crawford and his teammates behind him.
That really is, Sam. This is where they have to use the tire. They have the advantage. Go get the track position, because if the caution comes out here in 20 to 15 laps, you better hope you're past the competition up ahead of you, because you're going to be putting a very interesting decision whether you need to come down the pit road and get your last set of tires on or not. So I think you right now got to use what your advantage is, and your advantage is tires as they're coming off a 4. It's close action between the 3 of Gaudio and Nick Crawford. He still tries to keep it side by side, but it's tough. It shows you, even though you have that tire advantage, you cannot make passes as easily as you think.
And Nick Crawford's got to be a little bit more concerned because he's trying to use the 49 to Ryan Bird as a pick, and it will be set up perfectly on entry, but Ryan Bird trying to defend both positions as Gaudio has to back out, gives the spot away for Nick Crawford, and Cody Reed now setting up as the 3, still showing signs that he wants to be fighting for every position, but the tires just aren't strong enough to defend those that just got fresh rubber.
You can fight for a little bit, but after some point, you're just going to have to give in. That new rubber is going to make up the difference as Gaudio continues to go backwards. It's now going to be Cody Reed on the offense here, trying to get to the outside of Ryan Bird and maybe get a run. Good crossover move there for him, along with the 46 of Trenton Jump diving to the inside. All of these drivers on the fresh tires, it's a sense of urgency for them, because they know they have to get going here to gain back what they gave up by pitting here.
So much time thrown away at moments, and now it's down to those late strategy calls. Drivers taking tires on the last caution, others deciding not to do so, as it's going to be 50 laps to go here at Dover. The drivers, technically, if this race stays green, all these drivers can make it to the end of this race on fuel and tires. But if you're Malik Kuntz, Kyle Rochelle, Blake Hoppy, do you want this race to stay green? Because Nick Crawford is still 1.3 seconds back and closing in quickly on these lead drivers.
They do not want to see this race go green at all, Sam. Those drivers up front, they're hoping that Nick Crawford gets to them, and as soon as he gets to the back bumper, there's a caution thrown, because they're going to be in a position where they have to come down and use their last set of tires, while others are going to be sitting back saying, well, I got 2 sets here. I can really make this decision now and be confident with it, while the others, if you take your last set, your bed has been made and you got to stick with it. You don't want to do that too early, as it can really be a troublesome spot here late in the race to use your last set of tires before, 40 laps to go happens.
Mark Whitley, 77, doing a little bit of deking moves. Seems to be giving up about a half a car length to the inside on the entry of the corners, giving false hope to Nick Crawford. And then the 77 just cuts down right on the center of the corner, not allowing the 74 really get the momentum that he needs in the center off. And now Nick Crawford hoping he's got the speed, and looks like he'll finally have the quarter panel on the entry of turn 3. That's the pass that Nick Crawford has to make now.
That he does, Sam, and right now going to clear that 77 through the center of the corner and off, and going to look to the inside of the 29, heading into 1. Great 2-4-1 position there to make it, but they're wrecking farther back. Is Ryan Bird into the wall with no caution here, Sam, as we stay straight.
Eric Stamp, Ryan Bird, massive collision for the both of them on the entry of the corner, and looking like Eric Stamp just had no way to slow down as the both of them get pinched off the nose of Christopher Norris.
Yeah, I think Christopher Norris there definitely at fault for what just went down there. Kind of turned down into the 49 as they were coming up to him, but the caution's out in the speedways. We got a car wrecked. I believe it might be Logan Brakey was sideways.
Logan Brakey didn't like the fact that he was caught up in a wreck, screaming out, "We need a yellow," and it wasn't needed. Wild situation, and drivers are furious over the radio because of this.
That call there is, I do not agree with that, Sam. That is a call that I think they said they were not going to make this season, that they were not going to throw yellows unless almost utterly needed, and that was definitely not needed. I mean, it's a wreck, but, you know, that's sometimes what happens here on iRacing.
Yeah, I mean, race sponsor, maybe get some privileges, and Logan Brakey gets the caution that is needed after him and his teammate make collisions with one another, and both of them needed that yellow badly, and the Armadillas get some grace as they scream out for the caution to be woven.
Well, that's going to be a heated decision after this race by, I think, a lot of drivers, and disputed is pit road's going to be busy, and I think all the drivers that took the pit stops before, they're going to have to use their last set here, Sam. So they are stuck into this strategy, and what a wild scene we have here right now.
Well, one driver for sure going to stay out. That's going to be Noah Steele, as he will try to get a lap of lead. But for us up in the booth, I think we're going to have to step away from this one, get some clarification on exactly what went down to be thrown this yellow. And when we come back, we'll give you the clarification on why the reasoning for the yellow to be thrown. But you're watching currently the ISRC Larry R Productions Truck Series. It's the Armadillo keeps digging 170, and they certainly got grace with some help. We'll be back right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Masker can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Trish on the bottom. Bouchard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As that's still 4 wide on the right. run down in the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh my
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Armadillas is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
And we are back to green flag action for Armadillas. Keep on digging. Noah Steele going to be up front. Old tires compared to the rest of the field that just got freshies. As the 98 of Malik Coates trying to get back to the lead position. But it's the 8, the 98, two drivers that got caught up in intentional wrecking back at Auto Club side by side now for the lead. As the 8 machine, will he try to get any retaliation and force the 98 to lose tonight? As Malik Coates makes the pass cleanly, the 98 is gone and dusted as we go 3 wide for a quick second per second. But now it's side by side and a little bit of issues on the outside lane as everyone stacks up on the exit turn 2.
It really stacked up big there, made a lot of drivers lose out. Look at the 25 of Reed, just powerbomb drive it right into 3 and 4 and make the move stick on the 8 of Noah Steele. That puts him on the 3rd. Now Mark Whitley trying to make something happen along with Blake Hopping here on the inside. And look at Ali Fonseca. He's made his way back up here after his penalty. What a recovery from the 2014.
And everyone's trying to get by the 8 machine and Noah Steele, part of the Armadillas Motorsports team that brought out the most recent yellow, yelling out, "We need a caution." Admins threw it, and looking back, it wasn't worthy of a caution being thrown. But now the 8 struggling as Blake Hoppy setting up the 5th position, and everyone's scattering by the 8. But it is getting hazardous. Main reason why Noah Steele really pinching down and trying to hold up every driver possible, as the caution flag is what the 8 is banking on.
He really needs a caution flag for sure, Sam. So he's making it tough on everybody to get around him. Maybe they'll make the mistake, and he can scathe through it cleanly as he wants that yellow flag to get on that last set of tires. But Canada going to work that outside groove around him, and just it's so tough when you're on the old set of tires. You're pretty much at the mercy of the field around you as they're going to be going left and right of you. As now once again the 3 dives to the inside, and here comes the 19 of Tyler Dingler going to the inside.
Tyler Dingler is finally having to be on some fresher sets of tires than everyone else around him. The 19 able to breeze by Noah Steele, who's just on the quarter panel as he gets by and makes the move. As looking at the field, everyone's going to be settling in, trying to figure out how to get by the 8 machine and Noah Steele because he's on older tires. But up front, the challenge for the lead, Malik Kuntz, Kyle Rochelle, Cody Reed, and who else could it be but Mark Whitley still in the fight for the win. And you touched on it, Ollie Fonseca's as well inside of the top 10 after being 2 laps down. Black flagged on the initial start of the race, went 2 laps down. Now he's in for a fight to win here at Dover.
He really is, Sam, and I watched him throughout the night. He's had some quick times. This 24 is not slow, folks. If he gets a shot and an opportunity to get up there, I would not count him out. A past winner here at Dover, and really the place where he first got his first career victory here at ISRC, and looking to get back to glory here once again at the high banks of this concrete racetrack. And I would not be surprised, and what a story that would be. That would be the recovery of a lifetime.
It really would be, and he's following one of the fastest drivers on the long run. That's Blake Hoppy in the 31, hoping that this race will continue to stay green, so maybe the 31 has a chance to run down Malik Kuntz, as well as Kyle Rochelle, Cody Reed, and Mark Whitley. And looking behind these 2 drivers, it's going to be Christopher Norris, Nick Crawford. They've been just really a tag team, just for sticking together for most of the race. Thought at one moment Nick Crawford could try to continue on the 7th place winner streak that's been going on every Dover race. If you start in 7th, you win here at Dover. But tonight, all the pressure's on the 74 Nick Crawford to continue on the streak.
And his issues came from that last restart. Got stuck up top in that checkup, lost a ton of spots from it, and just could never really recover. Now he's going to dive to the inside of his teammate, Christopher Norris, who's just going to hand the position over to him to the 7th position for that 74 truck. Nick Crawford was looking good before that caution was thrown, but that caution really going to catch him out here and not give him as best a shot as he was hoping for. But Malik Kuntz still holding on up front as he's got the gap closing down between him and Kyle Rochelle. Rochelle's not letting him get away up front. And could Kyle Rochelle break through for our first career victory here at ISRC?
I mean, that's the one thing we've been seeing a lot here tonight for the lead position. Malik Kuntz kind of breaks out to a lead around 4 to 6 tenths ahead of the driver behind. and that's where they stay stable throughout the whole entire run. But Kyle Rochelle keeping it a little bit closer. Is that hurting the 21 on the long run? Mainly because the closer you are, the more real hardships you're dealing with. Those 21 machines gotta be feeling that pain now, as he's now fallen almost 4/10 back from Malik Kuntz.
Falling back indeed here, Sam, and the closer you get, the more you deal with the turbulent air. If you ever rode in an airplane out there, folks, and you hit turbulence, well, that's what these drivers are dealing with pretty much the whole time. I mean, you don't get shook around from the turbulence as you're on the ground, but you do feel the effects of that air in the wake being generated from that car ahead. That's just turbulent air that's spinning on top of each other and being displaced by a high-speed moving rapid object going through it. So it's something you deal with as a race car driver. As you get closer to somebody, it gets tougher and tougher to make passes happen. But again, that's the beauty of it. When you can pass someone, you know you worked very hard to do it and you were much quicker.
As this field continues to pressure their way forward, it's looking like Malik Kuntz is in such a fantastic spot to try to grab that first career win, and at Dover to continue the streak of a different winner every time we come to Dover. The 98 has just been on a dominant streak here at tonight's race. I mean, Zach, this is the Malik Kuntz that I think everyone kind of expected to see because of how fast the 98 could be at the start of a lot of these races. It just was always that middle point of a race to the end where we could see a caution flag come out, caught up in a wreck, and Malik would see a top 5 run kind of disappear. Tonight is the first time we've seen a complete race by this 98 machine.
It really has been a complete race by him, and you know, the safest spot and the easiest place to stay out of trouble, in my opinion, is right out where he's at. That's in the lead position. Nothing around him, no worries. He's just focusing on hitting his marks, making sure he doesn't overwork those tires. And I think that's what this 98 does best. I think when you put him back in the pack, when he gets racing people, he does race hard. And sometimes when you race people hard, you're in wrecks. And that's just the plain simple fact of it. When you're out front, you ain't got nobody to race, you're in a much better position to stay safe. And the speed has definitely kept him in this position for all night.
And it really shouldn't be a surprise that we're seeing Malik Kuntz up front in this dominant fashion, because if you look back to last season, Malik qualified second during that race, finished 5th, and was one of his best finishes in his whole entire season last time. And to come around, be up front leading the way that he is, this has got to be a confident feeling for the 98 to know, hey, I've got a chance to lock myself into the playoffs as long as I get this win and finish in the top 20 in points. But the night's not over just yet. A lot of drivers in the middle of the field starting to get a lot more racy around one another, and the danger is starting to kick up of, will we see a wreck? Could it potentially strike? And the first group we've got to watch out for is this one, being led by Joshua Kanata, having Ollie Fonseca, Tyler Dangler, and Anthony Gaudio, all stacked on top of one another, just asking for someone to make a mistake and a wreck to happen.
This is a huge stack up. You got Fonseca in the 24, and I don't know if Fonseca's just started to struggle, but he's been losing a ton of spots and a ton of ground here in the last few laps of this run. And right now, Dingler is going to be looking to get maybe to the inside of him and put himself in a top 10 position. Who Tyler Dingler, I'm going to say, I mean, he was on such a drought of top 10s. They're starting to really open the floodgate for him here, Sam, as he's really starting to show improvement here in season number 5.
Really has. This has been such an impressive run to see the development of the utter struggles from last season, making the playoffs, but not able to get the top 10s that he was hoping for, to now going for a lot of top 10s this season. Could be striking for another one to be grabbed for the 19.
That would be great to see for that team for sure, as he was able to get that pass done on Fonseca, and the 3 Anthony Gaudio now looking to try to get his pass done. So it's looking tough for the 24, as everybody trying to recover from that last incident. We just seen Logan Breaky there for a split second. He's in the 15th position after that incident. You had Ryan Ferraro in 16th, Justin Smith back here in the 17th position with Moniz right behind him in the 5th position. As this group's still lots of battling going on back here, as we're getting closer and closer to the end of this race, as we're just at 18 laps to go.
And the driver, we haven't really shown it all on screen. I want to give a shout out to, that's going to be 21st position runner of Martin Morales. Not the night that Martin was hoping for. He really was on a strong streak coming into tonight. This one machine has just been developing and being one of the drivers consistently running in the top 10, running a tribute scheme of Martin Truex, who won today, and was hoping for some luck to merge over. Hasn't been the night. Qualified 22nd, currently running 21st. just a survival night for Mark Morales. And with some of the top contenders we've seen struggle here this evening, it's not a bad night just to get a 21st spot and potentially gonna grab a 20th if we can get by Eric Stamp here.
Might better get this job done here. Looks a little quicker at the moment. He's going to dive to the inside of a 4, but a little bit loose there on the exit. Had to back out of that. Now going to refire back to the inside. It looks like Stamp just going to give him the position. I think Stamp's struggling a little bit right now. He says, you know what, go ahead and take it. And that's sometimes just drivers, giving up that position to race the racetrack. Is, oh, wow. They're having a little bit of an interesting little battle here. It looks like as soon as Martin got in front of him, he slowed down.
He just felt a little bit unstable after making the pass and was kind of in a shocked state as well over the radio. Wasn't sure what the heck was going on either on his end. The one just looks like after getting this pass, not feeling comfortable, really looking tight on entry. And maybe all that battling, Eric Stamp says, okay, now you deal with the fresh air and see if your tires can handle it now.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that was a little bit of a mix-up there, almost created a little bit of an incident. Luckily, they held on to it and was able to get back going forward as Morales up to the 20th position into a top 20 position here with 14 laps to go. But I tell you what, Sam, Malik has just left this field behind. He's opened up about a 1.8 second gap back to Kyle Rochelle, and really from Rochelle all the way back to around Matt Upbrook. It's only, about a second to 2 seconds separating this group. All these drivers pretty close together from second on to eighth.
Yeah, I mean, they are really on top of one another. And the question is who will grab these positions? Talk about how later into a run, it's difficult to make these passes. The one driver got circled up. Watch out for the 31, Blake Hoppy, who might be trying to set up to get by Mark Whitley, but 31's been looking a little troublesome. Matt Upbrook in 8th place. What a recovery run for himself. Got ran over by Kyle Rochelle in the middle of the first stage and able to now go for a top 10 run. This is great to see from the 15.
It really is. He had a little bit of a Cinderella story there in the playoffs with his great runs in that first round to get through to the second round where nobody thought that 15 was going to go. And looking to have a good run here tonight at Dover. So that's looking great for the 15 team. Is now the 25, putting the pressure on for second position here. Can Reed make something happen? Because he's also got Mark Whitley right behind him and even Blake Hoppy, who's under threat from Nick Crawford in the 74. So this group here, all a little bit similar speeds. It's just who can make the passes.
Looking at the last lap, who had the fastest time of this grouping, it was going to be Nick Crawford and Matt Upbrook being the fastest drivers. Nick Crawford, even with making the pass on Blake Hoppy, was able to put down the fastest lap of this top group. So watch out for that 74, able to find some good speed as a driver has to go into pit road. That's Austin Halsey not feeling comfortable in the 4. But Blake Hoppy, a little bit of blocking moves from Nick Crawford there in the entry of turn 1. And then the 74 does not want to deal with someone wasting time. 9 laps to go. And that's a defensive move that you rarely see from Nick Crawford.
It really is a rare move from Nick Crawford. We don't see him throw too many blocks or move too many people out of the way. But I will say that's one thing he's added to his repertoire has been a little bit more elbows out. But look, the 31 going to dive back to the inside here as he's going to try to get the move done just too tight through the center. Had to back out of it. Nick Crawford holds on off it too. But yeah, Crawford was hoping to go forward. But now these two kind of squabbling has allowed Mark Whitley to get a little bit of a gap here into these final 8 laps.
Gaining any little bit is great to see if you can pull away late and not deal with anyone on your back bumper. And that's kind of what Mark Whitley is dealing with. No one on his back bumper, not close enough to really make a pass unless you see a mistake from Cody Reed or Kyle Rochelle. Nick Crawford, Blake Hoppy, great battling to see from these two. As I say that, though, Mark Whitley brushes the outside wall. And 77 now has to be careful as they're closing in on lap traffic. That could be hurting Cody Reed on the exit of the corner as the 4 taking 4 tires and fuel could be a factor to mess with this lead group as that of 4 gasses it up but not feeling confident on the exit of the corner, and this could be a big influence for this lead group.
It really could be. Just the air of his truck being out in front of this group could be interesting, and with him on new tires, I'm surprised he wasn't able to fire off here quickly and get going. Just seems like he hadn't had the grip, like you said, with the colder tires. And kind of right in the middle of this group, Nick Crawford probably liking this to help slow up Mark Whitley to allow him maybe to go for that 4th position here. But yeah, it looks like Halsey going to finally back out of the way, let this group go on and try to let them battle it all out.
I mean, Austin Halsey could have made the passes, but for some reason just didn't feel the confidence in his driving maybe to go for the move to get by this group. and influenced it maybe a little bit more than he was planning on, and that's going to be a hard contact for the 31 off the exit of turn 4, as now Blake Hoppy, he's got to deal with that damage as Nick Crawford, maybe what was looking a little bit hopeless to take 4th place, settling back in and has a chance for it.
I can tell you what, you can tell it's 4 laps to go here at Dover. People are using up the wall and able to get every little bit of grip as this Cody Reed going for second now, Kyle Rochelle, and these two getting close on exit. The battle is on for the second position as Reed wants to go forward.
And with all these battle lanes collecting one another would be catastrophic. Exited the corner, Kyle Rochelle, as well as Cody Reed, trying their best not to hit that outside wall. And you can see Cody Reed recognizing the situation he's in, knowing that he's trying to just stay at the quarter panel, keep themselves side by side, but giving plenty of space. So if Kyle Rochelle bounces off that outside wall, the 25 wouldn't be collected, but it backfires. Not enough space. 2 laps to go for Malik Kuntz to get his first win in the ISRC Truck Series.
What a job to fight him off. Kyle Rochelle did there for the second spot, but I don't think he's going to have too much of an opportunity to fight back here, as he looks like he's just going to cover off the outside line as Malik Kuntz comes out of 4.
It's your lap white flag for the 98 of Malik Kuntz, the 98 machine. Last season, it was always the storyline. He runs fast in the first half, but it's the second half of a race where he always fumbles. It falls apart. Can't find a way to get a top 10, let alone a top 5 finish. Last season, the only top 5 finish he got was here at Dover. Well, a season later, give him his first win, Malik Kuntz. Welcome to the winner's book as we fall back to second place. Kyle Rochelle's going to get second, Cody Reed third, and the rest of the field stay where they were placed.
What a job by Kyle Rochelle to hold those guys off. That was a heck of a job by him. And also another great recovery from Mark Whitley after the start of his race. Some good runs needed all around from a group of drivers that really need to start making the points up here for race number 5. And then Malik Kuntz, of course, getting that win. This is huge for him to lock him into the playoffs.
Breaking away, maybe a lot more curses than just the pole sitter gets taken out here at Dover. Malik Kuntz finally breaking and getting a win, a top 5 finish, his first pole, a lot of firsts for Malik Kuntz, and with this win, locking himself into the playoffs and having a fighting chance to see if the 98 can run for a championship. Gotta say, Zach, if that curse of bad finishes is finally lifted off this 98, this is going to be one of our top drivers that could be a threat for the top 8, let alone a championship.
I think that's a great point, Sam, because if he gets in a winning way, the speed he's shown throughout his seasons, he could be a huge threat. I mean, he literally could be a huge X factor heading into the playoffs. And I think not only will this give him confidence, but also just overall make him feel like he's in a much better spot heading into this season as a driver. I could see this 98 maybe pulling off another victory here very soon.
Well, as Malik Kuntz gets to burn it down, enjoy the smoke show, because we're going to step away when we come back. It's the post-race show. We'll talk to our top 3, Malik Kuntz, Kyle Rochelle, Cody Reed, and we'll also talk to a spotlight driver right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the post-race show for the ISRC Lariat Productions Truck Series. Race number 5 is in the books. The Armadillas keep digging. 170 goes to a first-time winner in the Truck Series. That goes the 98 of Malik Kuntz. Let's see if we can cue up the 98 machine. We talked to him at the stage break, the winner of the stage, and now officially a winner of the ISRC Truck Series. Malik, it's Sam and Zach up with the booth. Congratulations. Welcome to Victory Lane. How are you feeling after this one?
Appreciate it. Yeah, it feels great. Like I was telling them, I was getting worried with all the cautions coming out. I was really hoping it was going to be a race like last season where I felt like I had a chance at winning. I just ran the wrong race pace, and clean air is everything here. If you can stay out front for the first 10, 15 laps, and you can control the trucks behind you, and didn't do a good job at that last season, so I tried to make sure I did this season or tonight.
You did an excellent job of it tonight, Malik. I'd say you controlled the race, kept that clean air on your nose, like you said, and really made sure it was a dominant victory here for yourself, man. I mean, the big thing I think coming into, with you always is we've always seen the speed you have, but it just seems like the finishes have always gotten away from you here at ISRC. How much does this do for the confidence level heading into the rest of season 5?
Oh, this is everything. Dover is one of my favorite tracks. It was a track I had circled last season. It was a track I had circled this season. Now I just gotta keep solid finishes instead of, usually when I get something happens and I get in the back, I overdrive and I just drive real aggressive and, either get caught up in something or cause something. So just gotta make sure I keep my cool and, just try to stay up towards the top 5 and be consistent.
I mean, I know, Malik, there was a controversial moment that happened late in the race. So a lot of drivers looked to be closing in and catching up to you. And then that late caution came out. What were you feeling in that moment right before the admin thrown yellow that came out and seeing the drivers catching up to you and then having that lucky break have come out?
So the second to last caution, I really wasn't paying attention and I was really close on fuel. So I had saved enough under caution, and once we had 4 or 5 laps, I was good on fuel, but I was still kind of worried about it. But when the caution came out, I mean, I knew everybody was going to pit. We had enough laps on our tires, so I really didn't. I wasn't too worried. I was worried more about the fuel situation than anything.
Well, you certainly got the timing perfectly. You got the win. It feels like hopefully the bad ohms are off of you, and we can see you continue with these winning ways. Congratulations, Malik, on the win. Before we officially let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout outs.
Oh yeah, I'd just like to thank my team for practicing with me. We we don't practice as much, but we did practice a little bit last night for this race, and they were supporting me through those last 30, 40 laps, so that was awesome. So I appreciate them.
Well, that is going to be the 98 machine of Malik Kuntz getting his first win in the ISRC Truck Series. Congratulations and good luck next week.
Thank you.
Well, as we go from victory lane, let's go to second place with the driver that was a part of our first caution of the night, but comes away with the second place finish. We got Kyle Rochelle with us. Kyle, congratulations on second place here tonight. Man, you had a wild up and down night, but how are you feeling after getting a second place finish?
Yeah, I mean, pretty thankful. We got kind of lucky there, and cautions flew our way, and we were able to hold position there at the end and used up all our tires. So if caution came out at the end, we would have been a sitting duck. But I'm glad it went fully green there, and we pulled it off a second at least. Finally, again.
Yeah, that was an awesome job there pulling that off, Kyle, man. Congrats on the second place finish. I mean, Malik talked about it just up here in the booth about how well the clean air feels. How good did it feel once you got yourself up there in position, and how much better did the truck drive from in the middle of the field?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helped a lot. It's just really just gauging how hard to push and save tires, really. You don't know when the caution's going to come out, and track position is key. And we started 20th and got our way at the 10th, and then went a lap down because of pitting. But like I said, just track position, getting lucky on cautions, biggest thing for us.
Well, Kyle, coming away, this is your first top five and top 10 of the season. How are you feeling with the next couple of races that are coming up? Because it looks like a tough one when you look at the schedule, Darlington, New Hampshire, and Sonoma being the next three races.
Yeah, hopefully top 15s, right? We're in the top 16 now, so we just gotta keep it there and keep our nose clean, and hopefully other people just wreck each other and not us. So we'll see.
Seems like a solid strategy there, Kyle. Well, before we officially let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout outs.
I just gotta thank the whole Late Apex team, Ryan, Austin, and Chase, and the whole series and you guys and everything you guys do. I appreciate it and love watching the broadcast. It's a lot of fun. So thank you.
Well, thanks for giving us the show to cover. That's going to be second place finisher, the 21 of Kyle Rochelle. Congratulations on second place, and good luck next week at Darlington.
Thanks.
Well, as we go from second place, let's go down to third for a driver that was hoping for a little bit more, but could not get the pass for second place done, but still a solid finish for the 25 machine. We got Cody Reed with us. Cody, congratulations on a third place finish. Man, how are you feeling after this race? It seemed to be a lot of ups and downs for drivers.
Man, I'm feeling pretty good. That's my first third place finish ever. There was only I actually have been keeping track of this weird stat. I finished in every position first through 30th besides 3rd, 15th, and 29th. So now I just need to knock off 15th and 29th, even if those aren't great finishes. But, that would be a little funny stat. Um, but, actual race talk. Um, it was pretty good. I felt like I was like probably like fifth fastest all day. But a lot of shenanigans happened with like Ollie and Mark and stuff throughout the race. That kind of gave me those positions. Um, but at the end, I felt like I definitely could have had something for Malik. But by getting by second was pretty tough. Um, and it like just when I got to him, the dirty air is so bad. And there was pretty much just no hope. I got to his inside and I could not get by, and then I noticed Mark catching up really quickly, so I just eased off a little bit just so I could secure third. But maybe if I could have got by at the restart, I could have had something for Malik. But I'll take third. So.
It definitely looked tough out there, Cody. I mean, you tried everything under the sun there to get past that 21 for that, second position. You alluded to passing being tough, but what makes it so tough here at Dover with this truck car?
Man, it's just like you have to get the perfect run off the corner to get by someone. Usually you'll be able to set it up coming out of turn two, and then just like kind of you're probably going to be on the inside of someone for like a couple more turns before you're able to even clear them. It is probably it might be the toughest track to pass on, especially when you're in the middle of a run. On the restart is where you want to get all those spots, and where I tried to get the spots at the beginning of the last run, I just couldn't. There was one moment, I don't know if it was like shown on the broadcast, but I kind of sent it 3 wide under Noah and above Mark, and that was the scariest moment I've ever had. I pooped my pants. Um, but it ended up working out. Um, but yeah, it's just passing. Passing is like super hard. Dirty air. It's awful.
It certainly did look like it was tough out there, Cody, but still a solid finish in third place for yourself. And before we let you go, the floor is officially yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, I'd like to thank my teammates, just in my ear throughout the race. It sucks for Nick. If the last little bit went green and we didn't get that last caution, I think it was going to be between me and him, especially him, because I don't think I was going to get by him. He's definitely in position to win the race until that caution came out, so I feel bad for him. I know my other teammates got up into some trouble and had some issues. Sucks for them. I'd like to thank you guys for broadcasting this. It's always a great show. I'd like to thank the admins for putting this race on. Uh, yeah, that's it.
Well, that is going to be Cody Reed coming away third place. Congratulations again on third, Cody, and taking another position on your bingo card. Hopefully, you grab the rest of them after you win a championship. As we hope for the best for you next week at Darlington.
All right, thank you.
Well, that's going to be the 25 machine of Cody Reed. Let's head down to our spotlight driver. A driver we talked about at the beginning of the race got a black flag to start things off, went immediately 2 laps down, but somehow came away with 11th place finish at the end. We got the 24 of Ollie Fonseca with us. Ollie, congratulations on rebounding. We had a lot of drivers that had to rebound, but you probably had one of the biggest ones from the start. How are you feeling with 11th place finish?
I mean, I'm glad we salvaged something out of it, but mostly just disappointed in the black flag there. I really thought tonight was my night to go out and get a win, and I'm not sure what happened. I was alongside of Malik there, and I might have been maybe a fender, not even in front of him, and I hit the gas when the green came out, and black flag. I thought he just spun the tires or I got a good launch or something, but no, it just wasn't the case. So it is what it is. I just appreciate my teammates and Brandon helping me keep calm and helping me just put my head down and dig and just get what I can out of it. If it wasn't for them, I probably just wouldn't have salvaged it the way I did. So it's all thanks to those guys. I've got the best teammates in spotter, so I just appreciate them. And it's yeah, it's disappointed, but I'm glad we salvaged something.
You definitely did a great job to salvage there, Ollie. I tell you what, man, that black flag was a tough one to see for yourself, especially with a very good chance to go out there and compete for a win here tonight, man. But we had a lot of drivers talking about how tough it was to pass. You clearly had to make a ton of passes with being 2 laps down and coming back from that. How tough was it out there?
Oh yeah, it was pretty rough. Personally, I think it was even the dirty air was even a little worse than last season. At least the effect of it was, but it kind of seemed to me like you could kind of run slightly different line. Like if you were just at least half a truck width out of the wake, it would turn on its own a little bit better than it normally would. So I kind of used that to my advantage. But yeah, it was definitely tough setting up passes. But like I said, I just kind of kept my head down and just kept on going, and that's just what you got to do in those situations, man. So it's tough, but it's part of it.
It certainly is. And Ollie, I know with the next couple of tracks, it looks to be a tough one heading to Darlington, New Hampshire, Sonoma. How are you feeling about these next 3 races? Because talking about making hard passes, all 3 of those seem to be hard ones to make passes as well.
Yeah, I'm excited for Darlington. Last season I didn't really put in a lot of practice for that track, but I somehow ran really well until I kind of screwed up on the pitch strategy there at the end. So I think we can get a really good finish there. New Hampshire, I'll have to definitely run some practice for that one. I haven't ran there with this league yet. And Sonoma, I'm usually all right there. So none of those tracks, I don't know if I really have circled for a win necessarily, but I know I can probably get some more top 5 finishes. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, we can't wait to see how you're going to perform, Ollie, in those races. But before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you to Larson Line Racing, Brandon, Danny, Dakota, Tyler. Just thank you so much for the opportunity. And I'm sorry I dropped the ball there on the restart. Those guys deserve a lot more better than that. So I'm gonna try to do my best to clean up those mistakes. And just thanks to my family, everyone who watches and roots me on. I appreciate it. I gotta thank Larry for hopping on board this season. It's an honor to be sponsoring the title sponsor, so that's pretty cool. And then of course, Hot Lap Threads. You can use my code OF24, get 10% off. I believe my merch line is gonna drop here within the next couple of weeks or so, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, thanks to you guys for just putting on these broadcasts every night. I just love rewatching these the day after, so I appreciate it.
Hey, it helps when you put on a great show for us to do our job. Congratulations, Ollie, on rebounding to at least get 11th place here tonight, and we hope for a better finish in these upcoming races. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you.
Well, that's going to be your spotlight driver of Ollie Fonseca in the 24, coming away with an 11th place finish. Congratulations as well to Malik Kuntz, winning once again. We're finding a new winner. And here at Dover, another first-time winner. The first one actually was Ollie Fonseca all the way back in that of season 3, but getting to see another first-time winner, Zach. Crazy to see Malik Kuntz, of all drivers, finally able to get it done.
It really is crazy to see Sam, and it was a long time coming. Personally, it's definitely one that I'm not too surprised from. It's just the surprising part is nothing went wrong really. So it's definitely been a case of that for him for majority of the time. But you heard it from himself. He said he's trying to work on that, and he's definitely found the sweet spot here tonight at Dover and got it done.
And he certainly did, as tonight's race, 170 laps, and a few cautions under a belt, but it was Malik Kuntz getting the win in the 98 machine. Kyle Rochelle going to come away with second, third goes to Cody Reed. Mark Willey, another driver going to really come back from a lot of struggles, and finishes with fourth. Nick Crawford fifth. A lot of what ifs for the 74 team, as if that controversial caution didn't come out, could have been a driver in victory lane instead. Blake Hoppy had a lot of speed at times with the outside wall, collecting 31. That forced him back to sixth. Christopher Norris, his streak of top 5 finishes breaks, but the top 10 finishes continue on for the 38 machine in 7th position. Matt Upbrook, what a finish for the 15 after being spun by Kyle Rochelle to bring out a first caution. He comes away with an 8th place finish. Joshua Kanata 9th, and Tyler Dangler gets a top 10 finish.
Great finish there for Tyler Dangler, but it's Ali Fonseca who we talked to as our spotlight driver there in the 11th. That's a great recovery for him. A tough ending there for Trenton Jump, ran in the top 5 for majority night, 14th. And as you look farther through the board, some guys that were running good, like GT Zari back in 21st and Noah Still in 22nd, who came together there on the front straightaway, had their nights in, and also Danny Cochran back in 27th. What could have been for him there is he got loose off a tube, had the contact with the 98, broke the right front tire, and it was a night over for the 2 machine. But tough breaks for a lot, but good rebounds for a few out there, as Dover once again showing the monster can creep up at you at any time and ruin your night.
That it certainly can. A lot of drivers getting prepared because they get away from the monster, but the Lady in Black is looming. Next week is Darlington, the next destination for the ISRC Larry R Productions Truck Series. And race number 6, Darlington, has a lot of ups and downs in the past as well for some crazy racing. So you don't want to miss out on that. But for here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, we've got plenty of other racing coverage to give you throughout the week. This is just the start of the week. We got tomorrow night, the Full Send Racing Series, their beginning of the season. Season 5 at Daytona is going to be tomorrow night. Do not want to miss out on that. Wednesday, the WSSR Roast the Gems Cup Series. That's the Las Vegas and the Gen 4 cars. And Thursday night, it's the Stars and Stripes. They take their Gen 4 machines to Michigan. 3 fantastic races that you do not want to miss. And then we take a little bit of break into the weekend, and we're right back here next week. Darlington. Zach, certainly a great week of racing to watch here on Freaky Fast.
Oh, no doubt, Sam. It's a great week, and I can't wait to be a part of it, not only in the booth, but out in the driver's seat out there in the cars. So it's going to be fun to see the next 3 nights of high-class league racing action here on iRacing, man. It's getting, like I said, we're getting into the thick of things now. Their season's getting into the mid portions of the regular seasons. Everything's going to pick up as we get closer and closer to that playoff time.
Playoff time is going to be crucial. We've had 5 races, 5 different winners. Hey, those 16 spots, you might as well start moving up now if you're going to be taking those point positions, because you can find yourself being bounced out very quickly if you don't have some good runs. A lot of drivers need some good finishes in the next 3 to 4 races. Do not get any easier. It's the ISRC Truck Series is where you want to be. But for tonight's coverage, thank you so much to everyone that was watching with us on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me was Zach Hull and Robert Moyer Jr. in productions. You just got to see the ISRC Larry Art Productions Truck Series. Cannot wait for our next Freaky Fast broadcast, as that will be tomorrow night for the Full Send Racing Series. We'll see you then for our next Freaky Fast broadcast.